Just a quick note here before I run to my next segment. We just heard from reporters about a pretty fiery exchange in the courtroom between Donald Trump and Judge Kaplan, and the judge is really setting the parameters for what's going to be appropriate in the courtroom moving forward. Trump was admonished. He said this is a witch hunt, audibly. So the judge said this type of conduct is not going to be tolerated. And if you continue down this path, basically, you're out of here. You're not going to be in the courtroom anymore. You forfeit your right to be here. So right now, the court's on lunch break. And the question is, what impact, if anything, will this have on the case moving forward? I think when they get back from the lunch break, the judge is going to make it clear to both parties what's acceptable in the courtroom and what isn't. And I don't think they're going to kick Trump out. Not really going to be anything that's going to happen yet, but it will probably be a final warning. So if something else happens, possibility that Trump is not permitted back in the courtroom. Now, the other question is, what about his testimony? He said that he might testify. His lawyers have made the argument that there's certain aspects of the case that he can testify about. For instance, the context of the statements that are defamatory and the questions that he was responding to and other issues surrounding those statements. The plaintiff's attorneys, Carroll's attorneys, have said there's really nothing he can testify about. This is damages only. It's not a liability case. So since everything is already deemed defamatory and to have been done with actual malice, there's really nothing he can say. And they said he shouldn't be permitted to testify. Obviously, the defense says it's his right to do so. So what did the judge do? Right now, the judge has set parameters and has said that Trump, if he testifies, cannot deny the sexual assault, which had already been found liable in the prior case. And he cannot say that Carroll is lying, and he cannot question her motives for bringing the lawsuit. So those are all off the table for his testimony. But the question is, given this altercation, witch hunt, all of this that's the judge has now identified as potentially problematic, what does that mean for the case moving forward? And what does that mean for the parameters of his testimony? And what does that mean as far as the plaintiff's application to the court that he should not be permitted to testify because there's really nothing relevant he can testify about, and there's a lot of stuff that's off limits. So we'll see. Another couple of points on this case, and we didn't get the chance to get into it, but this case, part of the damages argument that Carroll is making specifically relates to the defamatory statements were made in 2019 and Trump was president. So these defamatory statements are made on the biggest platform in the world. That's her argument. The further argument is that Trump needs to be deterred from making further defamatory statements, which they claim he's made 22 additional statements. As of yesterday, in the opening statements, they said the number 22 number could be counting. Those have not been deemed to be defamatory by the court, but the plaintiffs are couching them as more defamatory statements that are being made. So all of that being said, the damages, they're looking for $10 million plus, $10 million plus punitive. That's why they're so amplified.